Hi, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Shannon, and this is Starseed Evolution, bringing the wisdom and insight of the cosmos to you. I'm grateful that you're listening. Hello, and thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm Shannon, and grateful to be here. I hope everybody is doing well and looking forward to our time together. Tonight we're going to be working with the energy of Archangel Gabriel around activating our voice. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the different types of voice that we'll encounter through this activation. So it's not just our speaking voice. This comes from the Fairy Oracle card deck by Amy Brown. The card that came out is 37, lighting the way. The keyword is illumination. We all wish for guidance and help along the way, yet sometimes guidance comes from within. When we connect to the energy of spirit that resides within each of us, we see clearly what we are to do. Reach for the stars. Allow that communication with spirit to connect you to your highest good. Connecting to spirit is as easy as recognizing that you are already one with the universal power. If you have chosen this card today, it may be telling you that you need to strengthen your trust in the divinity that surrounds you. Ultimately, you are to be the one who shows others the way. You hold the light for them as they climb the path towards illumination. In order to do so, you must continue your own journey in learning and refining your own truth. It is only through example that we can change our world, one person at a time. But if enough people hold the light in enough places, we can bring about change at much more advanced rate. This angel holds the lantern for all to see, so that anyone who wishes to climb the path can better see the footholds and avoid the pitfalls. She has reached the highest peak. Her face shows that she takes her job seriously. Guidance can come in many forms: the words of a friend or a professional counselor. Guidance can come from a book or a stranger's words. Listen to what information comes your way, sit with it, and meditate on it. You will get a sense as to whether it is valid for you or not. If you are open and willing to hear your truth, you may be destined to teach or counsel others. What are the different types of voice that we're going to work with tonight? So there's the speaking voice, and within the speaking voice, I've broken it down into two parts. The first part is how we speak to ourselves. You can imagine how self-talk inside of ourselves can actually affect our voice, because it might hold us back from taking chances or stepping forward into the things that we're wanting to. The second way of speaking is how we speak to others. We're going to look at voice through the spoken word. Then another part of what we're going to talk about tonight is the creative voice. You can express your voice, right? That inner part of you that you're developing through writing, through painting and drawing, through photography, through music. So it's all about self-expression creatively, and you're giving voice to things that are important to you through these different creative avenues. When you work on your voice, what you're saying is that my soul is important. It's not the only thing that matters. It's not the most important thing in the world, but it is an important part of expressing my soul self. And by becoming more confident and being able to also help others on this path, it's a long-term soul growth. So if I see it as something that helps me to also help others over time, you begin to look at your voice, where it's come from, where it's going, how you'd like to use it differently. So the first thing we're going to do is just wake up our vocal cords by doing 3 ohms. The reason I chose ohm, because it's pretty simple, but it's also complex in that it's the first sound of creation. So when we ohm, right, and when we're doing the ohms, we're creating a vibration in our vocal cords. When our vocal cords vibrate with the sound of creation, then we're moving that whole sound and resonance through our whole body, through all of our cells. And that's connecting with our soul self, connected to divine wisdom. And so what you're saying is, my voice is important. I want it to open and awaken my whole body. And I want that resonation to connect with my soul and the spirit around me. And so connecting with our voice becomes a sacred act. And so what I encourage you to do right now, because I'm going to ohm 3 times, I would like you, if you're able to also ohm with me. The idea is that you as well are activating your vocal cords. So to connect with the sacred sound of Om, it's nice to also do the Anjali Mudra. So I'll have you bring your hands together in prayer position at your sternum, your heart space. And closing your eyes and connecting with your breath, connecting with your heart, connecting with your higher self. And we're going to do 3 ohms together. So I'll have you take a deep breath in. So the first thing that we're going to look at as far as voice for each of us is self-talk. Because how we talk to ourselves is important because it can affect how we use our voice or don't use it. How you clearly communicate ideas to others, how can you do that if your own voice inside of you might be saying really not great things, and so it might prevent you from saying what you want or need to because of how you speak to yourself. So we're going to be working or looking at that at least. And there's a passage I want to read before we do that. This book, Daily Guidance, Angels, Doreen Virtue, Loving Words to Yourself. The words that you use to describe yourself deeply affect your sense of self-love and self-worth. These include what you think, say, write, or even joke about yourself. You're in a caretaker role with regard to yourself. Much like a mother or father raising a baby, you have responsibilities and obligations to your own self. Your self-parenting duties include speaking lovingly and gently to and about yourself, just as you would to your own infant. Today, use only beautiful terminology to describe yourself. This doesn't mean that you're being boastful. You're simply reflecting your divine nature. When you use beautiful words, you speak the truth. This elevates you to the highest energy possible, where miracles and instant manifestations occur. So the first thing that we're going to look at, so I invite you to participate in this part. What is one thing that you might say about yourself that isn't always so kind? Is there something, like if you make a mistake or you're not doing the things that you want to be doing or something happens, what are some of the things that you might say to or about yourself that aren't so kind? Take this time now to journal whatever comes up for you during this moment of silence. I know that it may be triggering to see these statements, but what I want you to be aware of is this. If you don't pay attention to that those thoughts are or way you self-talk are going on in your head, then you can't take them, identify them, and be able to change them. Just bringing them to the surface begins the idea of being able to be conscious of those thoughts that are going in your head. If you were to look at the part of yourself that is saying these things, you're stupid, you're not good enough. How old is that part of you? That way it helps you know about what age you started making these defining statements. So are you 8 years old? Are you 5 years old? Is it your teenage self? So see if you can get an idea of how old that part of you is. If you ask the part of yourself that's saying that, how old is that part? So whatever age you named, allow that part of you to sit here with us. We invite that part in. We want them to be here. Have you ever tried to tell a child to get out of a room? They will usually either cower, cry, or fight back. And actually what we're trying to do is invite them in. Hey, I noticed that this is what you think, so I want you here. So now who we're going to invite in is our kind parent self. A kind parent is not the same as nice. So we're not saying a nice parent who will say only good things and be sweet and sugarcoat everything. That's not the kind of parent we're talking about. We're talking about the kind parent who is honest and truthful, but is also doing it in a way that uplifts us. Say I make a mistake. I'll give you an example. I go to a group meeting and somebody there upsets me. They say something and I say something back that's not nice out of reaction. And I just walk away and leave. But I kind of know that maybe I'm in the wrong, ooh, that wasn't nice. What the kind parent will say is kindly asking you, well, so how did that go? Well, not so good. I said some not great things. Okay, well, how do you want to handle this? Do you want to leave it that way or no? Well, it'd probably be a good idea just to, apologize to that person if you hurt their feelings. So the kind parent doesn't necessarily tell us to do, but walks us through how to work on things. So now what I'm going to have us imagine is you are sitting here with a part of yourself that has harsh self-talk, low confidence, with the kind parent. Now, you've heard what the child part of you said. What will the kind parent say? How can we turn that into a phrase that is actually helpful instead of hurtful? So if you take the phrase that you shared earlier about, like, I'm not good enough or I'm stupid, what would the kind parent, how would they tell you to say it instead? For example, I do make mistakes, but I can learn from them. Sometimes I don't choose to do things the best way, but I can practice to learn differently. So what the kind parent is doing is sharing with that child part of you how to say it differently that allows you both to have mistakes, learn from them, grow from them, and become a different person. What I want you to do is come up with a phrase about the kind parent teaching that younger part of yourself how to say things differently to you when things come up that might be difficult. It becomes that internal voice. One of the things that we started with at the beginning of our reading from the fairy card was beginning to trust your connection with the divine and your inner voice who guides you inside. And when you develop that trust, there is nothing on the outside, no matter how negative, that people tell you, that you just don't have to believe it because it's not true, as long as your connection with your inner voice is sharing with you that this is the path that you're on. And the path might change right as your inner knowing changes. And part of developing our voice and listening to it is hearing that young part of ourselves. And so the kind parent is like, hey, we're on this road together as a family. And we have to know that the unknown is part of our path. So when you notice that your child self is having those thoughts, begin to bring in the kind parent to ask them to see things a little bit differently, and work through that. And so what I want to do is bring those three together and again do another 3 ohms in order to continue activating our throat chakra. So I'll have you do 3 ohms with me. Again, bringing in the resonation, imagining that it's also the voice of your younger self and your kind parent. So I'll have you bring your hands again together in Anjali Mudra with fingers or thumbs at your chest, closing your eyes. And we'll do 3 ohms, taking a deep breath in. Now allowing your hands to gently release and opening your eyes when you're ready. So now the other voice that becomes present besides our self-talk is our creative voice. what I want to talk about is how we express our creative voice. From his book, Creative Authenticity, Ian Roberts writes this: own your creativity. You are creative with the same juice that flows in all of life. The question is not whether you are creative enough, but whether you will free yourself to express it. So my question to you is, if you looked at your voice as a creative part of yourself, is there something that you want in this moment to create or express? Like, is there something in your life now that you're wanting to create or express? Now, taking this time to either journal or meditate what comes up for you with this question for the next minute. So when you take the thing that you just named, what does it give voice to in your life? What does it give voice to in your life? Now, with this question, taking your time over the next minute, allowing yourself to connect with it, either by journaling or through meditation. Allow yourself to connect with it in this silence. And the last question is taking the idea that you're trying to create, what it gives voice to, how can you care for it or support it as you're working with it? So in what way can you care for it? So I'll have you name that too. How can you care for it? And now with this third and final question, taking your time now in this moment of silence to either journal or meditate. So now that we've named these creative parts of ourself, that voice, again, we're going to do another oming, but this time we're going to om with one of my tracks that I have on Insight Timer. And I'll just have you om with it naturally in your own way. Again, to do it, like you can listen to me do it because I'm also going to om with the track. But it helps you personally, physically, spiritually, your voice to be activated. So I encourage you to om with this track with me. So now, again, what I'm going to have you do is imagine that you've taken this idea or creative part of yourself that you're bringing voice to, and I'll have you with me with this track again to activate your voice chakra and encourage that part of yourself that is caring for your creative voice. So I'll have you bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra. Thumbs in front of your heart, and just gently oming with this track. And I'll have it take a deep breath in and exhale. Open your eyes when you're ready, releasing your hands and allowing that energy from the oming to move in and around you, and also imagine that it gives you the inner support and strength you're needing to step into being that creative part of yourself. And so now what we're going to do is kind of come into a space of now taking all those things that we named, our self-talk, the child part of ourselves, our kind parent, our creative voice, seeing that those are all parts of us, that we're not just one thing. And so now I'm going to offer Reiki channeled from Archangel Gabriel. So why Archangel Gabriel? Archangel Gabriel is the angel who focuses on communication, music, poetry, and art. He's all about the voice or the expression of the self through all these creative ways and through communication. Archangel Gabriel reminds me of being that angel that protects the throat chakra. And because your voice and your creativity is an instrument, then Archangel Gabriel can be here to bring blessing to that voice that you have and helping you support it in all the ways that you want to bring it to life. Before we do the Reiki session, and I'm going to do this through drumming, is first I'd like you to name a blessing or an intention you would like your voice to receive today from Archangel Gabriel? What's a blessing or an intention that you'd either like to set or to receive around your voice or communication with Archangel Gabriel through the Reiki session? So I'll have you either speak it out loud where you're at, or you can journal it. So what's a blessing or an intention you'd like to receive today for your voice? If you imagine that when I drum, today it's Archangel Gabriel, his energy coming through to give blessings to your voice. When it's done in that way, so in a Reiki form, that it's free will. So you have to say yes, that you'd like to receive it so that you are accepting, I do want to receive that energy from Archangel Gabriel. So I'll have you say yes if you'd like to receive the energy from Archangel Gabriel. For the Reiki part, you can either stay in a seated position. If you want to move into a lying down position, so you're in just a place of receiving, whatever feels most relaxing for you. So I'll have you do that now. And then once you're in that comfortable position, then I'll have you close your eyes. Begin connecting with Mother Earth beneath you, whose strength holds and supports you and surrounds you. And taking a deep breath in, bringing in that energy of strength and support for your body. And exhaling. And now imagining that Archangel Gabriel is sitting with you, gently placing one of his hands, just gently touching, momentarily activating that throat chakra. And then just imagine that he's either gently holding your feet or your back and beginning to channel his energy in and around your body to activate your voice that resonates through your whole body, and that he brings that light of the soul self of the fifth dimension through your crown chakra all the way down into your throat chakra, so that when your voice is activated, it comes from that place of connecting with your soul, bringing that wisdom and discernment of knowing when and how to use your voice and in what form, and just allowing these blessings to come through to you from Archangel Gabriel through the drumming. Now have you take a deep breath in and exhale. And just thanking Archangel Gabriel for being with us tonight, for gifting us with his energy in order to help us grow our voices and our inner self. And what I'll have you do is, when you're ready, open your eyes and come back to this present moment with me. And just coming full circle, what I'd like to do is close the practice by doing 3 ohms together as a way of creating that full circle. So again, I'll have you take your hands into Anjali Mudra, your thumbs at your sternum and heart, closing your eyes, connecting with not only your physical voice, but the voice of your soul, and then the energy of Archangel Gabriel. And we'll do 3 ohms, taking a deep breath in. And opening your eyes. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight for our practice. I'm grateful for everything that you shared with each other. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me on this guided journey. Thank you for spending time with your own soul, that voice inside of you that constantly calls you into new spaces. Thank you so much for joining me for this ceremony. I'm grateful that you've been here. I'm Shannon, and you're listening to Starseed Evolution. If you'd like, you can catch me live on Insight Timer on Wednesday evenings. I'll put the link in the show notes below, and it'll take you to the calendar of events that are coming up over the next few months. I'm wishing you a beautiful day. Namaste.